Nations are still reeling from the effect of the coronavirus pandemic. Businesses and the entire economy of many nations have been hugely affected. Unemployment is on the rise as companies have had to let go of workers or shut down completely. The agriculture sector is not left out. Restriction of movement has affected farming activities as well as movement of agri-produce, which in turn impacts the entire agri-value chain. The pandemic has compounded the already existing threat to food security in the country. Well, joining us from our studio in Abuja to discuss this is Kabir Shitu, agricultural consultant. Good morning and thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast. Let's first help us understand how COVID-19 has impacted agriculture, especially the value chain so far.
Good morning, Nigerian, and thank you, Veronica. It's two-way. Either as a country and as people, we take the advantage COVID-19 has brought to our agricultural sector, or as country or as people, we refuse to take the advantage. For today, I think the country is moving in a right direction, and we want to give kudos to CBN by introducing anchor borrower, which has helped in putting up rice cultivation and processing in a better perspective. And today, they are now moving anchor borrower into other commodities, e.g. 9 commodities, the cotton, the beans, tomato, ginger, and co. And this will help our country in any, even forex, because if we are able to produce surplus, then we can be able to export to countries that are not farming or doesn't have food, and we can make a lot of money out of it. E.g., if we can produce beans, this year we are putting up 30,000 farmers into cultivation of beans. And we are putting, in total, I think we are putting, CBN is putting about 1 million Nigerians into cultivation of various agricultural products. If we can take this advantage, I believe we'll have surplus and we'll be able to export. So COVID-19 has become an advantage in our agricultural sector because it has opened the eye of the government to say support agricultural sector.
But before now, if I may interrupt your line of thought, before now, the government has always talked about its diversification agenda, focusing on agriculture, to the extent it also shut down the borders and encouraged farmers to take advantage of the opportunity. But the question on the minds of a lot of Nigerians is how best we have made use of this diversification agenda and even the shutting of the border, so much so that we shouldn't be having issues where we say that there might be issues of food security, which we are rushing to tackle at this point, and that perhaps now we should have been building on the benefits of the diversification agenda and the shutting of borders at this time.
Yes, the problem Nigeria has that we urge Nigerian government and people to do is that we have policy somersault. What are these policy somersault? At a time we introduced Green Revolution. Where is it today? We put Operation Feed the Nation. We could not continue with those programs. In today, we are talking of anchor borrower. Are we going to sustain the program? Are we going to take it to state? Will corruption not come in and destroy this policy? These are measures that we are urging Nigerian government and people to take, because we are all the government. If you are talking of government, who are the government? Me and you, not only the people that are within the affair of this. Today, you take fertilizer, that's, let me say, agricultural input into rural area. The next day, you see those agricultural products back to city in a store for sale. So you see, what we are urging Nigerians to do is that we must take this advantage as people. That's why I say as people and government, because people must also reorientate their mind to say, look, I have to feed myself. in that way, we'll be able to feed ourselves. And government must also stop the issue of policy somersault, and then putting stringent measure for farmers before accessing this loan. If those stringent measures are removed, and we remove the issue of policy somersault, and we now go to reorientate the mind of Nigeria to say, look, with this COVID-19, none of them that have billions abroad can travel there for their health system. Even the type of food they are eating, in the next few months, you can import those food again. So they have to resort to local food. And that is why today, the local rice is more popular now than the imported rice. People are down to see that buying local food is better. Right. And that is why we are also urging that as people, we should start having garden at the backyard of our house, where you can grow your tomato and vegetables.
Kabir Shitu, we have to leave the conversation here now. Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you, Veronica. Long time.
Okay,
long time.
Now when it comes to agriculture, a lot of our people have always seen agriculture as a way of life, but experts are saying we need to go beyond seeing agriculture as a way of life. We need to be involved in it like business to really reap the benefit of it. What do you say?
As a country and as people and as government, we have no alternative today than to turn agriculture into business. This is the only natural gift we have in this world. The Israelis doesn't have the type of land we have, and they feed the world with their apple, with all their crops. So it is time now. We lost, as a country, we lost out from the industrial revolution. We lost out from technological revolution. Now opportunity has come with this COVID for us to launch ourselves into the world by feeding the world. And that is why we must now make agriculture as agri-business. It has to now turn into business. People cannot do this until there are measures that have been taken by government. Because now the government have to move, technology has helped us to say, instead of you asking farmers to bring their own collateral like houses or something, their land can be their collateral, in the way that technology has shown us that I can stay in this studio and film and view my farm and see from the day they started cultivation, how much they cultivate, what they plant, and what are the crops that they are going to get, and how many tons per hectare that we can get.
Okay. Now, Kibiri, let me interrupt you a little bit.
Agriculture.
Yes. Let me interrupt you a little bit because of time. Now, we have mastered all of these before. In the First Republic, we had the best of agriculture. In fact, some of the symbolism and significance of some of our emblems, especially like our flag, was encouraged or was triggered by the issue of agriculture, where we had the granite pyramids in the north, the cocoa plantation, and the oil palm, and all of that, and the cotton, and so on. What is the missing link with the idea of going back to that? Because if we had the formula at that time, it should have been really easy for us to go back into that life.
Yeah, in the 60s, government were the champion and pioneer of this program, and therefore fund is not a problem. Today, we have turned our country into full capitalist country. As capitalists, we have to now allow individual and businessmen to drive this agriculture. And that is why I place more emphasis into the measure, the stringent measure you put on farmers, like collateral, like this. Those are what are hindering people from going to farm. It's not attractive because you cannot even access a simple loan from the agricultural bank or any other commercial bank. Therefore, in order for us to turn our country around, to be able to take advantage of COVID-19, government should now come up with deliberate policies that will allow young Nigerians to go back and to see farm as agribusiness, and to also see it as a way of life and a way of even getting richer.
All right.
Going another way.
Kabiru, just 1 minute before I let you go. Kabiru, 1 minute before I let you go because of time. We saw that in the last administration, there was so much emphasis on cassava production. Now we've turned into rice production, emphasis of government into those kind of crops. Now, talk to us about how strategic we are supposed to work for a long period of time so that we can get benefits of what we're doing.
You see, we cannot depend on one commodity. We have forests today in Nigeria where bandits are running around. Government must take it as a deliberate policy to clear this forest and then encourage farmers. If you are talking of you want to have trees, cashew are tree, cocoa are tree, coffee are tree. We can now encourage Nigerians. We can go into gum arabic in the whole northeast. We can go into cocoa in the west. We can go into cashew in the north central. We can go into various crops.
All right.
If you are talking, instead of us leaving those bush.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, Kabiru Shitu.
Criminality.
Thank you very much, Kabiru Shitu. But I know environmentalists would not agree with you when it comes to the issue of cutting down forests. Environmentalists will certainly kick against that. But no, we have to leave it here. Thank you very much for